You've got a chance that there could be some level of change, even if it's a 1% change. However, to link him with Islam, overtly or any other way, I think is disingenuous. There's nothing about him in political life anyway, which indicates any semblance of Islamic identification. One could argue maybe he's just lying. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you guys doing?
Alhamdulillah, we're doing good.
You're doing good, huh?
Alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah. Well, you've been unbanned from India now, haven't you?
Is that good news or bad news?
I don't know. It must be bad news.
Yeah.
It must be bad news for the enemies, for the ops. And talking about important Asians who are making strides, political
another
strides.
Indian.
You got another Indian. His name is
Zohran Mamadani.
Is he Indian or from Uganda?
So his parents are originally from India. I think one of them's from Gujarat and the other one, I think they migrated to Uganda or something, but Indian origins,
Sure. So, I mean, some people have been speaking about him as an individual who's been voted as a mayor in New York. He's got the same kind of views. He's probably, I would call him a liberal secularist, socialist in his case.
Yeah.
He has the same exact views on LGBT, the same exact views on transgender rights and all this kind of things. And there's nothing about him in political life anyway, which indicates any semblance of Islamic identification. Of course, he identifies as a Muslim, but that's aside the point. Now, there's been, I would say, two extremes on how this, tell me what you think of this. I mean, let's bounce ideas back and forth, me and you. There's one extreme which basically throws the baby out with the bathwater. It's clear that he, despite his allegiance to traditionalist values or his views which are incommensurate or incongruent with traditionalist Sunni or Shia, by the way, because he identifies as a Shia, but traditionalist views from either of those perspectives, despite his incongruence with that, he's definitely better than his alternative, which is, a Zionist supporter of Israel, etc. So from that perspective, for the pro-Palestinian cause, he's definitely good. And that's why you'll find people on the right wing, far right, attacking him and defaming him and talking about him eating food with his hands and so on. And you know what I mean?
And we saw the likes of Joe Rogan reacting to a clip of his where he was on stage with his the people that he was competing with, and they were all asked one question, which was, where would you go after your election? And all of them unanimously said Israel. When the camera panned to Zohran, he said, I'd stay here. And for Joe Rogan and a lot of people, that was a game changer. And a lot of people were saying, why is somebody that's being elected for New York being asked about Israel? Stephen Colbert, that was the first question he asked him. Does Israel have a right to exist? So that definitely was a significant part of his running for a mayor as well, and why a lot of people, I think this whole pro-Palestinian notion is becoming more acceptable in the higher kind of echelons, the more Israel continues its genocide.
Absolutely, and it is significant for the pro-Palestinian cause that you have somebody who is unabashedly pro-Palestine, whether they're Muslim or non-Muslim, by the way, and we'll come to this point in a second, but that has been elected with a majority, which is a significant majority, 56% of the vote I think he got, and about 570,000 votes, and in the biggest city in the United States, which is New York City. So that is significant. Many people actually despise the policies of Israel at this point in time and the genocide that they're doing and so on. So I think that is something worth speaking about. Would you add any point to that?
There's a very unhealthy
fixation.
Fixation of especially the UK and the US that we're seeing with Israel. I mean, the pull that they have, the colonization of the minds and the politics and the economy is actually very, very
disturbing.
Yeah.
So we said there are two extremes on how to deal with a case like Mr. Mamadani over here. One of them is to throw the baby out with the bathwater and to say, well, it doesn't matter, if he's pro-Palestinian or not. He is pro-LGBT. He doesn't have our views in terms of transgenderism and so on and so forth. And therefore, we have to throw him out. And you've got a chance that there could be some level of change, even if it's a 1% change in public opinion, in wherever it may be, social, political, economic, that helps our brothers and sisters in Palestine, then that is a good thing. However, to link him with Islam, overtly or any other way, I think is disingenuous. On the side of the right wing, who are portraying him as an Islamist, I don't know what Islamist is pro-LGBT, what Islamist is pro-transgenders, right? This is actually, it shows ignorance, it shows illiteracy, academic, social, religious, and political illiteracy.
Someone made a good point. They said he's not a Muslim running for office. He is somebody
Secular liberal.
Secular liberal that happens to be a Muslim that's been elected as mayor.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, some people would even question that, frankly, because, I don't see how it's possible for a person to claim to be a Muslim on the one hand and have these beliefs which are antithetical to what is referred to as ma'lum min ad-dini bid-darura, or something known for the religion by necessity. This is going to sound controversial, but I mean, let's just say anyways, him being a 12 Shiite, I'm not saying all 12 Shiites believe in this, but there are interpretations of Shiaism which allow you to perform taqiyya, which is to lie about your religion. Now, this is not found in Sunni Islam, okay? You'll find that lying is restricted to 2 or 3 scenarios like wars, etc., in Sunni Islam. But in Shia Islam, it's way more broad under some interpretations. One could argue maybe he's just lying, about his religion or this, that, and the other in order to save himself from political life, this, that, and the other. So that he's got more ta'wil than someone like, for example, Hamza Yusuf, the one who was the Scottish Prime Minister for a while. Nevertheless, I think, to be honest, him calling himself a Muslim wouldn't suffice us to have him as some kind of a representative for us. For me, he is the same as a Bernie Sanders. In fact, I'll be totally honest with you, right? If it was a matter of, I know Bernie Sanders is not running for mayor in New York, but as for the sake of argument, someone with the same views as Bernie Sanders, being a white man and a liberal and a socialist, for example, if it was a choice between Mamadani and Bernie Sanders would be the lesser of 2 evils because there's no confusion. I would rather have a white man or a white woman, in fact, representing our interests than a brown man eating with his hands, but then causing all this anger and backlash, from the far right, and then having people mix and compromise their religion in this way. You will not be rewarded, for compromising on your faith. And this is not just from a Sunni, I know you're a Shiite perspective, because Shiite traditionalists will have exactly the same view. And there's a difference here, and this is the bottom line, between pragmatism, which is Islamic and acceptable in some cases, and compromise, which shows weakness. And I think, unfortunately, with these matters, it shows the latter, and we can't support that aspect of things. However, we do see that this is the lesser of 2 evils, and we understand that this could be something, inshallah, which brings the pro-Palestinian cause forward.